Well, hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome in. I am very excited because the topic for this particular episode of Buddhist Biohacker is
I can't do it.
welcome to another episode of the Buddhist Biohacker, and I am joined by my soul sister that I love so much, Dallisa Hocking. She is from Spirit and Spark TV, and Patrick Keller, who I also love so much, who is from Big Seance Podcast. And it's October 13th, which is my dad's birthday, but it's also like the Knights Templar and the Divine Feminine, all sorts of business. So we thought we would talk about all things paranormal today on October 13th. And we've got video. I keep saying video, but we really don't. We've got photos and we have audio. We have all sorts of good stuff. And so first, let's start. I want to have you guys take time just to introduce yourself really quick and what you do and why you're on a paranormal show.
Patrick, do you want to go first? And you were in you got to unmute yourself.
Just kidding. On my show, we talk about Disney. No, I'm just kidding. So my show is the Big Seance podcast at bigseance.com. It's about 7 years old, and we talk about paranormal, spiritual things, a lot of psychic medium topics, spirit communication, hauntings. We get nerdy, so sometimes we branch out into like other nerdy general paranormal type things, but we usually leave Bigfoot behind and UFOs behind and just kind of get into the nerdy spirit communication side of things. Everything's a big seance. That's what I always think.
Ooh, I like it.
I like it. Yeah, I met Patrick through Lisa. We were connected, and Patrick was a guest on my streaming show that I did for Binions because I had a show in Las Vegas that was a 90-minute live show based inside of a haunted hotel. And so doing a mediumship live show inside of a place that has lots of spirits was really interesting. So, yeah, that's why I'm here.
Oh, man. Well, and I'm Lisa Gunshore and host of Buddhist Biohacker. And I'm here because I love both of you. And I love ghosts and spirits and have been a medium all my life. And I love pictures and audio and oh man. And I used to hold a lot of seances and they're really fun. And I actually got to be a part of one in New Orleans, which was probably the coolest one I've ever been a part of. Yeah, so welcome in. So everybody who has joined in, we've got such a great audience tonight. Share where you're from, and I'd love to hear your paranormal stories or thoughts as we go through. I think what we're going to do is analyze some video and audio and pictures. What is wrong with me? I can't. What is wrong?
Are you trying to manifest some video up in here? Is that what you're trying to do?
I think so. I don't know. It's so crazy. I can't stop for some reason.
I think there's gonna be some video at some point in this show. There has to be.
Maybe we're gonna have stuff whirling around behind us. Oh my gosh. And I have pictures from our recent CE5 event. So I have some alien activity too, which really is different from spirit activity. And I want to talk about that too. I think that'd be interesting. Barbarella is already sharing. And hi, Barbarella. She says, somebody knocks on my door in the middle of the night. I don't know if it's a dream or if it's somebody else. I love it. And Eve, hi, Eve. She says, feeling spooky. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So where do we want to start? What do we want to do? Should I pull up some pictures right away?
Yeah, let's just dive right in.
All right. So I'm going to go here to this window. All right. So let's start with, let's see, where am I going to start with? All right. We're going to start with your green orbs, Dallisa.
Oh, okay. Oh, there I am with long hair.
Yes.
That's the ghost of Christmas past right there. So I'm at a TCU football game, as you can tell, my Go Frogs. And you can see at my waist, there are 3 little green flying things. And there's a second picture that I took at the same game of the field. And Lisa, I don't know if you've got that one, but it shows the ones up in the sky.
I'm going to try to be a good producer here. So give me a minute, everybody.
I think you've done a fabulous job so far.
Oh my goodness. What happened was I brought all these pictures up on the screen, and so now I have to like find them. Hold on. We're going to make it happen. Okay, there we go. Okay, so hold on. So we're going to stop sharing. All right, and then we're going to share this other picture. Boom. Look at this.
Oh, yeah. So then, because I was snapping pictures throughout the game, and they showed up again, the same 3 later on. And so that's why it says my green angels are back. But it was the same night. So, and they showed up in the trio there. And I know that some people have experiences or photos with orbs of different colors. And maybe everybody watching, if you've captured, these kind of things on film, have yours been different colors? What colors have you gotten? Mine tend to be green a lot of the time. What's going on with you, Lisa? Have you had different colored orbs before?
Mine's always green too. But my stepson always has like these bright yellow ones.
Oh.
So, I mean, there are different ones. Patrick, what's your analysis of these 3 orbs?
Well, as
are you going to debunk them, or are you going to agree?
You ladies know that amongst orb fans, I am not going to be liked very well. But what I immediately think is the angle of those 3 orbs are, about the same angle as that set of stadium lights that's in between the goalposts. And even though they're, the lights are overblown in the picture, I'm willing to bet that there are at least 3 or 4 stadium lights there. And I think that if you, in a lot of pictures like that, if you just kind of shift a little bit, you can almost line them up. And that's a typical kind of thing that you get in digital photography, is a reflection of bright light sources. That would be my response.
Damn you, Patrick. Oh. This is interesting. So Leona says, interesting, I see orange and purple in this. I assume that's in this picture. That's interesting. Unless
or that she sees it. Like when she takes pictures, like her orbs are those colors.
Yeah. Clarify
in white.
Can I see the other one, though, where the 3 lights were at Dallisa's waist?
Yeah. Let me go back to that.
Because I do find it interesting that those 3 lights, if my theory is accurate, then those 3 lights are awfully low.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that.
Yeah, I would say those don't match up with that theory.
So we're just going to say they're green angel orbs.
I like it. I like green angel orbs.
I guess I voted. So if we go by votes, okay.
Okay, so I've got a good one for you. So our dear friend and colleague to Buddhist biohacker April Meganson from April Renee Yoga sent me a picture from her friend. So April lives in Virginia Beach by Thomas Jefferson's homestead. So
oh God, I don't like this
I
one.
know, I don't even want to see it. I don't even want to see it. Okay.
It's legit. If you get scared of ghost photos, don't look.
Yeah, so true. And now that I said that, okay, here it is. Okay, I'm gonna make it bigger on my screen. Oh, I don't want to though. Oh, okay.
I don't like this picture.
Am I seriously gonna pee my pants or what?
So this is from Thomas Jefferson's homestead, everybody. recently taken. Oh, there it is. You can't hardly see because it's so tiny. Look at that woman.
Stop
Ah!
it. Stop it right now. I want to make it bigger, but I can't.
Oh, I know. I need to make it bigger, but that's it, man. Look at that woman at the end.
No!
First of all, it looks like it's from the Stanley. The inside of that looks like the Stanley.
Doesn't it? I'm going to see if I can make this even bigger.
Oh, great.
Well, because it's so tiny on StreamYard. Like, oh, I don't know that I can, you guys. Okay, I'm going to show it one more time. Michelle's another medium, and she just said, what the hell? Okay, I'm going to share it one more time, and then we're going to take it away.
Dallisa and her hands covering her face is cracking me up.
Okay, when a medium
you're
is
peeking
scared,
around the
you should be
side.
scared. That's all I'm saying.
You're peeking around the side of your hand.
Listen, Michelle Snelling says, I'm a medium, and that terrifies me.
Exactly.
Okay.
Can you imagine seeing a video of that?
Woo! No, there's no video. Maybe that's why I keep saying video. Maybe I keep open.
Oh,
I know, right? Oh my God, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. Okay, so speaking of Michelle Snelling, I'm going to share this video. So we hosted a CE5 event to connect with aliens, and we had the most profound experience. I can't even talk about it. It was so insane. And so about 30 of us watched the sky for 45 minutes, watching these lights move in patterns. And I mean, it was just crazy. So the pictures, let's talk about this, because I'm curious what you two think about this. So I've taken a lot of spirit photos. They like me to take photos of them. I'm sure, Patrick, you've been on all these investigations, and Dallisa, all the work you did at the haunted hotel. Okay. The thing about a spirit picture is you take a picture and then you look at it and you're like, oh, I got spirits. You look at it later. These pictures changed multiple times with multiple witnesses who saw images and then saw them again with new stuff in them. I've never seen anything like that. So to me, that's for sure the ultra terrestrial. And what I kept getting was they're showing us how they can time travel. That's what they're showing us as these digital pictures are changing. So this is one of the pictures that changed that I'm going to show you. And Michelle did not have a device on her body at this time. Okay. So I just want to
wait, are you saying that the actual picture, the file changes over time? Or
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Like the first time we looked at this picture, there was nothing but just a picture of people sitting. And the second time, this was on the picture. Do you see this right here? She had no device. There's no electronic device here. Let me see. Hold on. Let me blow this up. Clearly, you guys, I did not learn much about my production here. Let me see. I don't know if that's going to blow it up or not.
You don't have a minor in, StreamYard production or anything?
No, I should with all the shows I do. All right. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Now, if you really blow it up, there's all these little spirals in it that make up this box, this little light box. We call it Michelle's turquoise time travel box.
So she wasn't holding any box of any kind or anything.
No, her hand was literally on her leg.
And what? Now,
yeah.
But were you saying that someone saw this picture before and there wasn't anything in the picture before, and now
several of us? Here's one of our witnesses right here, Karen from California. Yes, the photos changed a few seconds later. This isn't the only one that changed, by the way. Multiple changed.
But it is interesting because you can totally get your brain to imagine that those are some apps on a phone, and like a time on the upper right hand corner, and like whether that's pareidolia or not. Like my brain wants to finish that image and make it a phone.
Yeah. We have a question too. Mary's asking, does anyone who was there remember hearing the weird electronic sound that seemed to come from the brass bowl sitting on Michelle's chair? I mean, this was the wildest event. I can't even begin to describe this, but I have other pictures we'll share in a little bit. But yeah, so that is pretty wild. I'm going to say it's pretty wild.
I would agree.
I would love, Patrick, you got something on cue?
Oh, you want some audio?
Yeah, we're gonna mix it up. Let's throw in some audio.
Cool. Well,
Michelle's saying there's nothing and the box was there. I mean, yeah, it was pretty crazy. Okay.
You know, I think lots of things in this world are unexplainable.
Amen.
I don't remember if like the 3 or 4 that I have here are kind of like the best ones that I've shared. So I may have shared, with Dallisa on something, or, Lisa, I may have shown this during your show, but I can't pick one. So I was this was one of the last investigations I did of like a legit family who was having some issues and had some concerns. And so I actually went myself, and I was actually invited onto the case by a medium friend of mine who was also helping the family out. And a lot of times, some of my best, don't necessarily call things evidence, but a lot of times some of the best audio I get is when I'm just setting up. And I've always recorded nonstop while I'm setting up, which sometimes, might take 2 or 3 hours, because, if someone's there wanting to communicate, they're not going to just wait for, minute 1 of your, ghost hunter style investigation. They're there and they're ready to communicate. So I travel with the recorder and usually lay a few around, and I'm talking to the owners of the home. We're setting up stuff, and they had some experiences down in their basement. And so I'm getting ready to go downstairs to set up some cameras and things like that. And I'm asking them if there are outlets and things down there to, to plug things in. And so you're going to hear me talking. And then I also bleep the sound of the family's voice just for their privacy. Not that it's a big deal, but you're going to hear me talking, and you're going to hear a bleep, and then you're going to hear what I picked up on the recording.
Oh, do I need to like plug my ears for this?
I don't think so. I don't think this is going to creep anybody out, but I don't know. But I'm also kind of used to hearing stuff like this. So here we go.
Okay.
There's probably plenty of outlets downstairs.
I'll play.
Man, they have such a distinct sound, those EVP. It's so distinct. Okay, play it again. I want to hear it.
And I don't always get EVP that have this sound. Usually my EVP sound a little different, but here it is again.
There's probably plenty of outlets downstairs.
So what
makes my skin crawl?
Yeah, what's he saying?
I don't know how easily it's heard over StreamYard or over,
it
from
pretty
my
good
side.
sound, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But it's pretty good. And I've a lot of times I will, post my original EVPs and then also kind of manipulate it, see if you can pull it out. But I haven't on that one. So that's the original audio. And I hear See Dorothy. And so as I'm talking about going down into the basement and to set that up, you hear See Dorothy. So and the family didn't necessarily know of anyone like in their family or that had lived there before. It's a fairly, I think the house was probably built in the 60s or 70s.
Now you got to play it again, because now we're all going to listen for Dorothy.
Yeah, now you're going to hear stuff like, I like pizza, or something like that. Okay, so here it is again.
There's probably plenty of outlets downstairs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So that was one of the, I did get other evidence. One was controversial from the same place. And I'll tell you, I cried over this. I got a artifact also the same evening while I was setting up, which I didn't hear until, a month or two later as I'm going through investigation. And I thought it said, "Can you help me?" And so when you hear that like months later and you're not there anymore, and when you have such empathy for anything that might be there, I just sat there and cried. And I'm listening to it and listening to it. And so I'm having trauma over this spirit thing. "Can you help me?" And then when I pulled it out and did some more stuff to it, oh my gosh, it's not "Can you help me?" It is, and this family had two daughters that lived there, and it was the daughters that were creeped out most of the time. And I don't talk about this much because I can't say this EVP without bleeping it. But I hear, "Will you F me?" basically is what I hear in the EVP. And now I can never unhear that again. And I'm like, oh my God, I went from crying, feeling bad, thinking I want to go back and help this thing to now thinking, I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know what it was. I sent it to the family. I felt awkward sending it to the family. Sometimes you never know if sending something like that is going to be helpful or make things worse. It's like, what? Because I can't confirm or say 100% for sure what it's saying or if it's anything at all. So do I just make their lives worse by sending them that? So that was from the same home.
Karen says, definitely heard "See Dorothy" in your recording. And I figured out how to blow things up now. So just while we're talking about extra creepy sounds.
No! What the heck?
Why don't we play my EVP while looking at that photo?
Look at that.
No!
I saw in the comments earlier, someone said, "Is she holding a candle?"
I don't know.
I don't know.
You don't want to know what she's doing. It's too stressful.
Maybe it's a knife.
I don't know how I'm such a scaredy cat.
Oh my God. Well, that's a scary image. I mean, that scares me. Now, I'm curious about this one, Dallisa. Look at this one with the pregnancy. I'm loving that.
Oh, I love this. And this is somebody in my Spirit and Spark community, and she said that this is her miracle baby. She's pregnant in this photo. And, this was taken, and look what shows over the top of it. I thought it was really, really cool.
Y'all, I have no debunking or explanation of that.
Yeah. That's pretty amazing. And you can see like the circular, I'm like trying to point and I'm like, no one can see what I'm pointing at. But you can see those circles in front of both women. And it's interesting because it looks like the Navajo Indian symbols. So that's even more interesting to me.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Really cool.
So everybody watching, comment, let us know what you think. I'm curious from the two of you, do you go to those fake haunted houses, that they set up for Halloween? Like, do you go? I can't go. Obviously, I can't even look at a freaking picture on my computer. So I don't go in fake haunted houses. Real ones are fine when I'm working because I've got that signal turned on. But I don't like stuff like jumping out at me.
I don't watch scary movies. Don't go to
haunted
houses. I don't do any of that.
That's the kind of thing that scares me more than legit paranormal things. Like I'm braver around, researching the paranormal. I don't get as freaked out, but yeah. And we have a group of friends and we will go to haunted attractions sometimes. And I am the one who will, you will come out of the haunted house and I'll be behind you and there will be permanently pressed like scrunchies on the back of your shirt from my hands, like grabbing on to your shirt and like trying to hop on your back, which is a lot of weight. If I jump on your back, that's pretty bad.
No, you just lost a bunch of weight.
I did. I'm very excited about it, but it's very slow.
Oh, but that's the good because slow means it'll stay off.
I'm hoping.
Yes, that's awesome. Okay, what else do you got over there, Patrick? I got plenty of photos, so we might as well have some
so
audio, not video.
So the other really cool one that's different that I have is from using the spirit box. And this was years ago. This was not long after I first got the spirit box. This was probably 10 years ago, 12 years ago. And I was sitting at a Ouija board. And it is also not long after I got my first Ouija board. I've since experimented a lot and met Karen A. Dahlman, a good friend of mine, who was an expert at the Ouija. And I've talked a lot with her and hung out with her, but this was before all of that. So I'm sitting at the Ouija board, and I usually tried to do kind of an EVP session at the same time. I remember that same session I experimented with a clock radio, with the different frequencies on there. And then I used this spirit box. And when I asked, just in general, I've got my hand on the planchette of the Ouija board, and I had asked, what am I touching? And you hear two responses. One of the responses, a lot of people think is my name or something else. I guess I won't say anything yet. And then there's a big response after that. And this is an example of, when EVP sounds very different from the first one. So
I'm busy next year. So when you ask me to do this episode, I'm busy.
I know. I'm like, sorry. Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
What am I touching?
So, did you hear it? You want me to play it again? It's a little noisy.
Play it again. Well, Patrick for sure was loud.
Okay, so you're
or planchette or whatever. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I initially heard planchette, and then other people are like, "No, are you crazy? That says Patrick." So, and I have heard my name said before, and usually it immediately, will make the hair on your skin stand up. And so, I don't know, but I'll play it again.
Do it.
And then tell me what you hear after that for sure.
What am I touching?
Don't you hear Ouija board?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna play it again.
Do it one more.
I heard Patrick the second time.
So it sounds very robotic at the end, and it's, of course, a spirit box. So there's different, people are gonna, and even me are gonna say, okay, is that a DJ voice? Is that the mix of a DJ voice and something else? Is the spirit manipulating the sound from the spirit box to make something happen? I mean, there's all kinds of questions, but I'll play it again. Here we go.
What am I touching?
Pretty clear.
Okay.
Oh, that gives me some chills.
Where's my like Palo Santo and sage at?
Oh my God, seriously. Jay says I stayed at the Stanley Hotel and got some good EVPs. We do have the Stanley Hotel. I can't go there either, by the way. Not going there.
Oh, I love the Stanley. All I had was a beautiful 4-night stay that was peaceful and fabulous.
Maybe because they know that you love them. I think when you provoke the spirits, that's when you're in real trouble. Like those shows drive me crazy where they're like, say something and do something. And I'm like, if I were a spirit, I'd be like, no, like I'm not doing something because you told me to. They're not performing monkeys. They're beings.
I kind of believe that some of I have a lot of issues with like paranormal tourism sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I don't think it should be a thing, but I saw Chip Coffee post this question the other day on social media, is that when we make like theme parks out of haunted places, it's like we're changing them over time. Like in my mind, I'm thinking, well, what's stopping me when I die? If I'm a giant paranormal nerd, what's stopping me when I die from going and hanging out at the Villisca Murder House or from the Stanley Hotel or whatever and hanging out there? Or, how do we know that when we go to some of these places that are nonstop, people just traipsing in and out, how do we know we're communicating with energy of people who we think we are? It might just be energy of people coming in and out every day. You know, it brings up weird questions to me. Like it's almost like pollution. Like, are we polluting, you know,
Mm,
these locations? I don't
that's
know.
interesting. What do you think, Dallisa, about that?
I don't know. I think there's so many layers to it. And I think that spirit and the universe are intelligent. And so I don't know. I don't know if you can pollute it, but I get what you're saying. Maybe for me, it would take away some of that spark to it. If everyone's kind of going, hoping to get something and they've got their cameras out, that maybe it just kind of takes away some of the mystique with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely roll my eyes a lot at tours. Like we'll go someplace, and of course, more times than not, I'll take the tour because I want to see the place or I want to hear the stories. But you know, and not that I'm like investigator extraordinaire, because I'm definitely out of practice and no one's an expert at what they do. But when it's like, okay, we've got all these tools and everybody, and you know, sometimes, you know, women are walking around drunk and it's like a bachelorette party and they've got their, and I'm like, what are we doing? We're not, it just, or you'll hear tour guides talk about how machines, you know, tools work, and they're like, well, this will show you if it's a ghost, and I'm like, no, it shows you if there's electrical, you know, responses. Could be a ghost. It just, my mind just gets annoyed. So, but I will be the first one to go and take the tour.
Yeah. I can't do the tours, and I don't like the shows because I just feel like it's so offensive. I mean, what you're talking about, Patrick, is I agree. Like, it's really offensive. Like, for people like Dallisa and I who talk to these spirits all day long, for people who are grieving their loss, like it's kind of offensive for people to be bossy and recording everything. Like, I'm all for paranormal investigation. Like, and I've done my own seances where I've recorded things, and that's really beautiful. But you want it to be this beautiful, organic, like co-creation with the spirit. Right. You don't want it to be like, hey, man, I'm going to get you angry. I need you to throw that table across the room or whatever. I mean, I hate that kind of stuff. We have some interesting comments. Mary says, I had a spirit box session recently with Chris Moon, and I swear it was really my mom's voice. That's pretty cool. And Sherry says, I love the Stanley, but didn't see or hear anything either. But I did get some orbs and some photos. I don't know who PJ is, but PJ always has tacos, and I love it. And even now, PJ still has tacos, and it's like a year later. So we just have to say hi, shout out. And Jay says, I didn't get anything while on the tour, only when I was alone with the people that I came with going back to the Stanley Hotel. So lots of Stanley stuff. So I have an alien photo to show you. And the thing is, like, this is not orbs. This is like a different thing. And I didn't even know these like kinds of images appeared with, I didn't know anything about alien events. I just thought I'd have one. I'm like, I'll just do it and see what happens. Well, apparently these kinds of arrow-like things, you'll see it in a minute, show up a lot. And I think there's a name for them. I don't remember. So if somebody knows in the comments, you can say. But this is one of the photos from that same night. And I love this because I don't know how you could debunk this. I'll be honest with you. Okay, so you can see it down in that bottom corner, and I'm going to try to blow this up here.
Rods, I think, are what they're typically called.
Yes, I screwed this up. Let's see. I'm trying to blow it up without losing the... There we go. Can you guys see that?
It's really low.
Oh, I see here. Let me take this banner off. There you go. It is really low.
Yeah.
Man, my production skills are...
Is that
better?
The only thing I will say, and it took me a few seconds, is the city, the cityscape above. There's that one reddish, orangish, streak up in the top left, and the blue streak is roughly the same length, and it's kind of that same explanation that I gave with the stadium lights. Like, if you can shift and kind of do an overlay type thing, and lay it on top. Like, I think that could be a reflection of, because that's, if you look at all the little cityscape streaks of lights, that red one is like the brightest one, so it's what the camera's focusing on the most.
Yeah,
And
well, and here's what else is weird is these up in that top right corner, see the black kind of circular smudges like in the picture. But so there is a picture before this with the same cityscape, which I guess I should have pulled up and I didn't. So now we'll have to have like a whole analysis show where I can pull it up. But the picture before that has the same lights in the cityscape. There's no black stuff and there's no
black smudges are
arrow.
weird.
There's no rod at the bottom. So yeah, so there's that. So another interesting photo. Yeah. All right, let's see. What other photos do we have here? We have, oh, this little girl is cool, Dallisa. We'll show this, that little girl with the blue around her. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look at that.
Wow.
Uh-huh. Yeah, this was submitted by another member in my community, and that's her daughter.
Let me see. I'm doing a poor job at this, but there we go. There we go. That's pretty amazing.
I mean, that's a blue aura in my opinion. Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
I do too.
You could probably go on Instagram and find the same kind of filter to make someone look, I'm special.
Frankie has been trying to get in the mix this whole time.
I know. I guess I could. I've got Cauldron here too. We got a little cat party.
Oh, stop it! Her cat is Cauldron.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
This is Cauldron.
Oh.
It's our little cat party. It's like Andrew Bartz is the galactic historian. He says we're one cat meme away from unification on the planet. And I love that. Cauldron's like, really, Mom? Did you have to hold me? Really? So I had a reading with a channel today. Her name's April Crawford. If no one's heard of her, she's pretty awesome. And I go to her once a year. And she channels a group of beings called Veronica. And so I talked to her just today. And when I talked to her, I said, well, one of the things that she specializes in is animals. And so she's written books about animals and all these things. So I said, well, I really want to know, because I've been talking to April Crawford for 10 years. And I was like, I really want to know about Cauldron. Like, I want to know about Cauldron. And she's like, Cauldron thinks she's very large and vicious. And I just laughed because Cauldron does that. I was like, yep, that's Cauldron. She does. She thinks she's just wild. And I think it's funny. So anyways, she's really mad at me.
When she walks in the room, she probably hears Hinganyama, Hinganyama.
Yes. Oh,
Hinganyama.
You know what? That's even more funny than you realize. That's pretty psychic and synchronistic because she has this little cat condo and she gets on top so she can see all of us in the living room. And every time my little Sadie Jewel, she's the littlest, she's 9. Every time she walks in the room, she goes, because Cauldron's always the king of it. Oh my gosh. So Karen says, hi, Frankie and Cauldron. And Mary says, Cauldron's a tuxedo kitty. Yes, she is a tuxedo kitty. Oh my gosh. Okay. What other EVPs you got over there, Patrick?
Well, I have just one more that I prepared for tonight because honestly, I don't have them that organized on my computer and I need to kind of organize them. But this one is the first possible EVP that I captured on my team. I used to have a paranormal team on our very first investigation. So I considered this luck because we had, many investigations after that where we didn't really get much. And so I was really excited about this. This is at a church. It's at what they referred to as the Fellowship Hall. This is the basement of the main church structure. So the church above is above, and then underneath is like where, you know, they have the kitchen and the large area for like meetings or like dinners and things like that. And there's lots going on as far as sounds. You can hear, I think it's like a big giant fridge that's like cranking away in the background. And of course it's tile and linoleum everywhere. So it's kind of bouncing around. And you'll hear me talking about the EMF readings that I'm taking. And in this room is just my dad and I, and my dad is sitting and I am walking. So the only thing that does make me sometimes wonder is, you know, with footsteps, you can pick up weird, make yourself think that you hear weird sounds. But I do remember I'm walking, and what I think is a possible EVP is toward the end. And I won't tell you what I think it says. I'll ask what you guys think it says. I will point when I hear it, because it's kind of, I need to do a better job of editing out things that aren't super necessary. Here we go. Are you okay, Dallisa? You gonna make it?
I'll see in a second.
All right, here we go. Oh, it's making me download this clip. Hang on, it's in my Google Drive. I've got to open it. Okay, here we go.
Size fellowship hall. Opposite of the kitchen, it's higher numbers.
It was right there. Do you hear? Okay, so I'll back up just a little bit in the file, except it's not letting me.
I'm like leaning into my computer. Sorry, guys. Getting a close up of my gray hair.
Okay, here we go. I backed up just a little bit. See if I can take it to the exact same place. Anybody think they hear something? And then I'll tell you.
Well, I hear it, but I don't know what it's.
Hear it, but I can't decipher it.
We have multiple choices here. Some the actual church that invited me. I think there are a lot of members of that church that think this is Paul. And the history of the church is like 200 or more years old. So there are Pauls that could be connected to it. But what I think, and I think what most members of my team thought, was that it's all over me. It's all over me. So here it is again.
Oh, man. You can't hear that. Dang. So, man, EVPs, I just
I think it's definitely easy to hear it's all over. I still wonder if maybe my brain adds the me. Mm-hmm. If the me is really there, because it's softer and there's other background noise in the background. So anyway, I'll play it one more time. That was my first. So I was really hooked after that. You know, that was one of the first ones.
Yeah. So I would
never say it's a true EVP, but if it is, you know, consider myself pretty lucky.
Yeah, I would say it is. And it feels authentic to me. Mm-hmm. And man, I used to record my seances with a tape recorder, which still by far gets the best EVPs in my opinion. Forget any digital. I never get anything on digital. And it was so awesome. There was one in particular, because I would do a seance every Halloween. I should do that again. I used to do that every Halloween for my clients at my house. We'd have a seance. And
I'm sad that I don't live closer then, because I would be knocking down your door for that.
Right? It was fun. We table tipped. I mean, we did all sorts of stuff. It was really fun. And I would record it, and then I would play it back and listen like the next day and find all the EVPs. And we'd be like, who's here? And it'd be like Susan and Jeff. And there would be words and conversation. There were usually several in a night. And it was always with that tape recorder. So I should just go buy an old tape recorder. I used to record all my readings on a tape recorder. I mean,
a lot of people, you know, have for EVP anyway, for like podcasting, you obviously want to have fabulous equipment. But for EVP research, a lot of people will go out and get the cheapest recorder they can find, because that is, one of the theories that a lot of people still go by is that, the more active little parts you have in old machinery, that it's possible they manipulate that and use that to communicate. And the nicer, more modern equipment is silent. There's not a lot of working parts. And so same thing, I always think about the same thing for microphones. There are microphones that are really strong that pick up everything. And, like for, audio production and stuff, it's like, well, do we need to be using those microphones? Or do you get less EVP from those microphones? Because I don't know. I think there's still a lot of experimentation and research to be done in this area. So many questions, so many variables.
I totally agree. Now, I love this picture that Dallisa sent in. Let's see here. This one's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. So that's in Las Vegas. And
is it two different pictures? Oh, here
it's that one on the bottom is the one to focus in on.
Yeah.
It's that smoke stuff off to the right-hand side.
Yeah. Man, I love it.
I
love it when there's some like smoky plasma kind of stuff.
Yeah, so it's in the high roller. It's the big Ferris wheel on the Las Vegas Strip.
That's cool.
Is it enclosed?
It's enclosed, but I think this is I was going to say this is a photo station, but I can't be certain because it looks like they might be up in and somebody's taking their picture while they're inside of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking it is. Like I can totally, like, I've recreated that kind of smoky photo. I could do it easily, especially, in the spring or in the fall around here in the evenings when it gets kind of more chilly. But number one, I'm thinking, does it get super chilly in the evenings in Nevada? And number two, I'm thinking it's enclosed. So there shouldn't be any kind of like breath or something that would cause that in an enclosed thing.
Yeah, because you can see the rail behind them. So I think that they're inside of the pod.
Yeah, it looks like they are too. Well,
it's all enclosed.
What's your take on the smoky stuff versus orbs? Like, do you think some people say that that's more angelic? I mean, I don't know. I don't have an opinion. I'm wondering if you know anything.
Who did you ask?
Whoever.
Oh,
either one of you.
To me, the frequency just feels different. Like when you look at something like this, like the blue rod thing feels very high pitched to me from that UFO picture. I look at something like this and the frequency just feels different. So I think that depending on how maybe they manifest in photos, it could be a different kind of being.
Yeah, I've always thought that, a lot of people try to categorize hauntings or categorize the way people show up. Like when people talk about shadow figures, for example, I cannot stand when people, say the word shadow figure with like this as if they assume it's demonic or something like that. I'm like, well, I mean, not that I know, I don't think anybody really knows till we get there, but how do you know it's not Aunt Martha trying to muster up any energy she can, and she can't muster up enough energy to, show off her beautiful dress she's wearing, and all she can do is a shadow, or maybe all she can pull off are like her legs or the bottom half of her or the top half of her, and so I think there are many different ways. Well, and then also, like, I have horrible eyesight. I have these, giant pop bottle glasses that can't get any thicker. And so who's to say that the way I interpret an apparition is going to be, way messed up because of the fact that I have horrible vision. I think there, again, so many variables.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, this is my favorite alien picture from the CE5 event because there's a lot going on. And this is the one that also changed. That's like a whole other story. But this is the picture. And I'm going to see if I can zoom in. So first off, it has several rods. Oops. You can see the rods here, right? It also has, I don't know what that is, but, oh wait, we'll get to that in a minute. It also has this. And again, there's no electronics going on here. This was two women talking to each other. And the picture is distorted. But then the other thing is there's this, like, what is that? It could be the back of somebody's head, but it's got some kind of glowing. And then over here, this image, I mean, what is that? Like, there's no one else standing there.
To me, that's the weirdest part. That's the weirdest part of the photo to me.
Now, let me tell you about these rods. These were not in the photo, and neither was this. So we looked at this photo. I mean, this is what's weird. We looked at the photo. There was probably 4 or 5 of us at my house. There was nothing. We look at the photo. We're flipping through again to show like people were coming into the house from the event. We were all kind of sharing the different photos. And these 2 rods appeared on either side of this woman's head. And then these other 2 appeared later. So that, quite frankly, is the weirdest thing of the whole picture, is not even this weird stuff in the picture, but the fact that this stuff appeared after we'd already seen it. And there were several of us witnessing this. This wasn't like one person. This was like, no, the picture literally changed and these rods appeared. But then there's this plasmic thing over here also that really, I mean, the thing is, because it was an event to connect with ultra-terrestrials, what fascinates me is like you were saying, the frequency, Dallisa, doesn't it seem like it's not the frequency of like a ghost or a spirit? I mean, what do both of you guys think?
I'll let you go first, Dallisa.
Yeah, I mean the plasma stuff off to that right-hand side of the picture feels thicker to me. It almost feels like some kind of dimensional or thing or portal, where the rods feel like that high-pitched sound again. So to me, it doesn't feel like it would be Aunt Betty, in the living room. This feels like something more like interdimensional.
Mm-hmm.
On the side, what we're looking at now, that to me is the more fascinating thing. The rods don't really, and I don't think much of those, because in the dark, if there's light in the background, and if there's any movement in somebody's hand at all, the slightest amount of movement in a digital photo is going to, create that kind of thing. Like, to me, I see a star, I see, city lights in the background. So those, I don't think much of those, but I am one to say you have to also take into consideration the context. And, the context of the event you were hosting there definitely makes you think more about images like that.
Yeah. And Karen shares she was there in the house. She said those rods were not on the photo when we first looked at it. I mean, that was the part that was so crazy.
Yeah.
Michelle too says, I saw it with my own eyes. Like, if not, I would be skeptical. Yeah. I mean, it was pretty crazy. And it was a very interesting evening all around, but I love, an hour flies by when you're doing paranormal photos, you guys, and video and audio, no video. Wrong. Wrong. I just want to make paranormal videos now, apparently. And we still have more. So I know you're freaked out, Dallisa, but I feel like we could do this again. We've had such a huge, nice audience tonight, too. And we have a question. So I think we end on this question. So Karen's asking the 3 of us, do ghosts physically ever appear in your homes and try to talk to you, or do you have boundaries or protection to prevent that? So whoever wants to go first.
Well, I just moved a month ago, and I wasn't kidding when I was like, where's my sage after this show, right? Because my house is like 80 years old and there's a lot of history here. And I will tell you, the same freaking light keeps coming on. And it's happened a handful of times, and it's not every day. It's not the same time. And it just comes on. I'm like, oh, fantastic. Yeah, hi. And but I think that they're respectful, but I also know that there's way too much energy imprinted on this house for there not to be something. So, but I don't see full body apparitions. I see it clairvoyantly, like a daydream. My grandmother and her grandmother would see full body apparitions. But my spirit team, like when I was a kid, I remember talking to my grandmother about it, and I'm like, I never want to see it like that. I'd be like half curious, half terrified, like, okay, what's the story grandma's going to tell me? But I did not want to see it like she saw it. And so then all the years later, when my gifts like fully manifested, they don't show it to me like that. They show it to me like a daydream. So when I see a photo, I'm like, no, because I think that my daydream kind of vision of it is a little softer.
Mm-hmm. I like it. What about you, Patrick?
In this home, I haven't had any experiences, but it won't be a surprise to you all to know that I think sometimes because I've always said I'm 50, like 50% skeptical, 50% I really, really, really want it to be real and paranormal. And I think that closes me off to a lot of experiences, and that angers me. I annoy myself. I fight with myself all the time. But Dallisa has heard a story of mine from my last home that I lived in, where I was touched and pretty much grabbed in my home after a weird experience in the middle of the night. And that's like the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me. And actually that investigation that I told you about, This Is Dorothy, and the other thing, I'm pretty sure it was like within 24 hours after that experience. And so it's the only experience I've ever had that makes me wonder if, investigators always talk about picking up hitchhikers, and bringing them home with you. And that's the only time I've always thought that was dumb. But I'm like, I don't know, pretty forcefully just grabbed in my home in the middle of the night after waking up and feeling something there. So I was like, maybe there's some truth to that. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I do see the creepy, weird apparitions. So thanks, Dallisa. I guess I needed to have a better conversation with my grandparents about the fact that I didn't want to see them. So I've seen them all my life, and sometimes they look like normal people. I worked in retail, and sometimes I'd greet people, and my associates that worked for me, they knew my gifts, and they'd be like, "There's no one there, Lisa," and I'd be like, "Whoops."
Hi, can I help you?
Yeah. So sometimes, and that's not a lot. I'd say that's probably 10% of the time. And then about half the time they look like shadowy figures. And I joke about it where I'm like, do you have to look so creepy? Like, could you just not be so creepy? I mean, really. And they'll kind of walk and disappear. So they can only hold that space for so long. And then sometimes I see lights and orbs, but so I do see them. And I would say my house is always got a line of people, and I think Dallisa has the same experience, especially right now, because a lot of people are leaving without being able to say goodbye, just because of like the pandemic rules. And so there's always people around. So I just trust my team. My team protects me. I trust them, just like Dallisa, Sage, and Palo Santo and all that. I mean, for sure, I clear the space, but I also just know like nothing icky is going to get in here. And if something did, I'm going to throw them out because we're senior in our space. And that's the thing to remember, whether you're doing an investigation or whatever paranormal activity, like you're senior in your space because you have a human body. So you can tell them to take off and they will. They have to.
Universal law.
Exactly. If you see all these people having all these poltergeist things, they're allowing it on some level in their soul. They are contracting with this being and allowing it to do those things to it. They just can't. So that's my opinion on that. And this has been fun. Did you guys have fun?
This was fun. Like I said before we went live, I've been under the weather all week in my house and in from work. And so I needed some kind of fun like this. So I appreciate the invite.
Oh my God, yes. And I think we should do this again. Dallisa, can you brave it if we do this again in a few months?
I think so. And I love that people sent in their photos and that we can incorporate in the audience. So everybody that's watching this video, if you have a photo or a video that you think has something in it, send it in to one of us and let us know that it's okay for us to use it and we might just feature it.
Yeah, and video. And audio.
Or audio, yeah, I'd love to hear some audio. I'm skeptic of audio too, though, just so you know. Like, it's not just photos that I'd like to tear apart.
Yeah, no, I like you tearing things apart because I think we need the logical, we need the science. I want the science to prove what's intangible. So let's do this again. And just really quick, don't forget, you guys, to subscribe to Buddhist Biohacker, and Dallisa and Patrick, just really quick, share again how people can find you.
Spirit and Spark TV on YouTube and social media, Spirit and Spark, and website, spiritandspark.com. Pretty easy.
Awesome. You can find Big Seance Podcast usually in all social media. I think it's just Big Seance. And then the website is bigseance.com. Happy Halloween, everybody, for real.
Thank you guys so much, and have a happy, it's Halloween season for sure. And it's October 13th. So have an awesome night. Thank you guys. Thank you, Dallisa and